Hello and welcome to our HTML and CSS course. Every time you use the internet, you interact with HTML and CSS code. In this video, you'll start off by learning how HTML is used in the real world. We'll cover everything from semantics and meta tags to making forms and uploading media. Additionally, we will also delve into the use of CSS as part of this course. We'll learn all aspects of HTML and CSS one by one. Maybe you know a little HTML and CSS from another course you took, or maybe you don't know anything at all. In any case, a concise overview will be helpful, so let's go over some fundamental HTML and CSS principles and practices. HTML is an acronym for Hypertext Markup Language. But what exactly does that mean? Hypertext is text that includes links to other text, and markup refers to the way in which HTML tags are used to structure content and give meaning to it. These tags describe the type of content that they enclose, such as headings, paragraphs, lists, images, and more. With CSS, cascading style sheets, you can control the appearance and layout of your HTML content. CSS allows you to set things like font sizes, colors, spacing, and more. By combining HTML and CSS, you can create rich interactive websites that can be viewed in any web browser. So, whether you're new to HTML and CSS or just looking for a refresher, this course will provide you with a solid foundation in these essential technologies. There are many code editors you can use to work with, but the process remains the same across all of them. You can either create an HTML file and open it in the editor, or you can create the file using the editor itself. The same applies to CSS and JavaScript files. Inside this code editor, this basic structure, which we have written over here, is known as boilerplate. By now, you know that HTML describes the content of a web page. But how do you describe the meaning of it? Just like labeling items in a store can help someone understand what they are looking at, it's important to semantically describe the content on a web page. Think of it like labeling the shelves in a library. Just having books on shelves doesn't give enough information about what the books contain. But, by labeling the shelves as science fiction, history, etc., someone can quickly understand the contents of each shelf. Similarly, in HTML, using tags such as h1 to describe a heading, or nav to describe navigation links, helps search engines and assistive technologies like screen readers understand the purpose of the content on a web page. This leads to better accessibility and search engine optimization for the site. Similarly, the UL and OL tags describe lists. However, there are many more semantic HTML elements available to you as a developer. Check out this code for a moment. Inside the body tag you can lay out the website with very semantic tags to describe each of the sections. For a typical HTML page, the structure can be semantically described using the header, main and footer semantic HTML tags. For example, in any website there are three main components that every website has. That is header, where logo and navigation links are written. Next, inside the main tag there will be articles, sections, div tags, and more, which basically the main data of that page. And finally, a footer section contains contact information and social media links. Depending on how web pages are created, the nav element is frequently positioned after the header element, which is used for logos. The main links on your website are then placed into the nav element. Developers often express their links as an unordered list within the nav element. These links on your website are then put into the nav element. Inside the main content of any website we often use article or section, where article is used for represents complete or self-contained composition in a document, page, application, or site that is independently distributable. Think it as a newspaper article, where every news has its own space inside the newspaper. As an article is a self-contained piece of content that can be independently distributed or syndicated. It typically has a start and an end and can make sense on its own. Examples of articles include blog posts, news stories, forum posts, etc. A section in HTML is a thematic grouping of content, typically with a heading, which is used to group together different elements into sections with a distinct purpose to create a document outline and to provide a way to apply styles to elements collectively. Unlike articles, sections don't have to make sense on their own, they're used to structure a document. At the end of this element we have a footer element, which is basically a path to additional links, such as social media links, contact information, and more. It is not necessary that you write code strictly using these elements, but it's a good practice to make your website SEO friendly. Your web page is more accessible because the content is semantically described to add meaning. Now, search engines and accessibility software can easily understand the contents of your well-formed web page. How recently have you utilized a search engine? Most likely during the previous few hours or minutes. Maybe you just wanted to search something up fast, or maybe you required more in-depth knowledge on a subject. How meta tags assist search engines deliver information? Search engine optimization, or SEO, is an important element of building a website. This method entails improving a website's content semantics and delivery in order to increase its ranking in search results. You may be wondering what a search engine performs when it evaluates a web page. When a search engine visits your website, it examines the HTML page as well as the media assets. If it detects a link to another HTML page, it follows that link and continues to do so until it has completed evaluating the entire website. The search engine will rank your website for various search phrases based on the results of the analysis and the content on your website. So while your website may rank first for one search keyword, it may rank quite low for another. Let's talk about something important in web page. What is metadata? Well, it's data but other data, which in this case is about the web page. They are added inside the head tags, and as you know that they are not visible on the website. The meta element has two attributes, name and content. The name attribute specifies the name of the metadata, and the content attribute specifies the value of the metadata. Let's look at some examples of metadata. Over here, description metadata describes the content of the web page. This is often used by search engine as descriptive text in search results. For example, over here name is the type of metadata, and the content is the description which you want to give. Next, metadata is keyword, which is used to provide keywords to search engine, which helps the search engine to get search rankings, and also can be used as spam indicator. However, this metadata is mostly ignored these days, and so I would not recommend to include this metadata. Next we have author metadata, which shows the ownership of the web pages. There is another metadata that is very important, that's viewport. The viewport metadata is important when designing responsive web pages. When a web page is viewed on a phone or tablet, the device will by default attempt to render the web page as if it is being viewed on a desktop. This results in a poor browsing experience for the user. The solution is to define viewport's metadata, so it is important to know about this metadata. Viewport is essential for both the user experience and search engine optimization. This is due to the fact that many search engines now include a website's mobile experience as part of their ranking algorithms. Now that we've covered the basics of HTML, it's time to put our knowledge into action. In the next part of this video, we'll dive into creating our first web page using HTML and CSS. With our newfound understanding of HTML, the creation process will be a breeze. We hope you found this video informative and enjoyable. Don't forget to share it with your friends and to subscribe to our channel for more great content.